And he's getting recruited a lot of places, and we're hoping that he ends up in Nebraska like I did, but we'll see. And then we got a little Barrett who's a 10-year-old, and he's biggest of us all. He'll be like Brett and be an offensive lineman, and he's just massive. So.
Okay, well, that's a kind of an unusual family. You normally see a family that has that many Division I type college athletes. But what I'm kind of getting at too is your dad played at Nebraska. He was a fullback for us, like you were. Did you feel any pressure? I mean, what was your relationship like with your dad when you were young? I mean, he had a lot of the guys that he was dealing with lots of talent in that house.
Yeah.
How was your personal time with your dad, and what did he teach you regarding your faith and sports?
Yeah, my dad is my biggest role model in terms of faith and in sport. And I just remember getting up in the morning, and before school, if I'd get up a little early, I'd see my dad at the table reading his Bible, and he would never pressure that on me. He would never, but he was just so loving, and then the way he treated us boys was so, it was amazing, and it was something that like I want to emulate in my fathership someday. And when it came to sports, he did the same thing. He didn't pressure us into playing any sports. I remember my freshman year, I loved basketball. Basketball was my favorite sport. And I wanted to play college basketball, and so I was thinking I might not go out for football. And I remember being very open and honest with my dad, and him being like, okay, well, if you don't want to go out for football, like that is completely fine with me. Like, do what you love. I'm going to encourage you to not like quit your freshman year of football, because that's what I was thinking about doing. But he's like, you can do whatever you want as long as it's honoring to Christ, as long as you're giving it to Christ. And that was very freeing to me, and then I ended up not feeling that much pressure to love football, and I ended up loving it more than basketball, and ended up playing in college. So he just did a great job.
Well, Bo's a very talented guy. You know, you don't define success. Jesus never defined success by how far you go up the ladder in the NFL, or how many games you win, how many national championships you win. He defined it by, have you become more and more and more like him as time goes on in your relationship with him? And do you maximize the ability you have? And so Bo really has done a phenomenal job in the classroom and on the field. And in fact, I'm going to have him sing a little stanza of Amazing Grace for us to let you know what kind of voice he's got. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, Bo. You got you, baby.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Hey! All right.
That's on the spot.
Let me tell you, I know it's on the spot. I wanted to put him on the spot because, honestly, I think he's the most fearless player on our football team. He'll get up in front of the whole team. He'll have a bunch of fans or people around at the end of practice, and he'll get up and sing, and he doesn't miss a beat. Not just because he's talented, because he's not afraid. He lives out of the power of Jesus Christ. So let's give him another hand. Appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Okay, buddy.